So early. All right, here we
Yay.
go. Good afternoon, or if some depending where you're at. If you're on the East Coast, it's good evening. If you're on the West Coast, it's good afternoon. It's your man, all the way George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Building Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. And today here I have a very special guest, a wonderful lady by the name of Miss Lisa Curtis. She is from Arizona. She is an amateur competitive figure and physique competitor, and she just competed a few weeks ago at the Dennis James Pro Show, a Pro Amateur Show, and she placed third in the women's figure division, and also she placed first in the women's physique division. That's pretty good. I mean, she's about to hit a home run with a triple double, just about. So,
Yeah.
so hello to our guest today, Miss Lisa.
Hi, how are you guys?
All righty. We really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I saw, like I said, I was following you on IG and I saw you post your stuff. And I said, you know what? I said, you look pretty impressive,
Thank you.
especially, doing two divisions.
Yes.
And that's a tough thing. I mean, you got to tell you got to put on the high heels for one, and then you got to step up the high heels for the other.
Yep. I'll tell you what though, there's a little bit of a trick to that. So I always preach that you pose every day in between every set. In the beginning, when I was spending more time in heels, I would pose on my toes without the heels. And what that did is that gave me enough strength and mobility over time that now my physique posing is incredibly fluid because I can control everything from the bottom all the way up to the toes.
Hmm.
That, that's how you stay balanced in those shoes.
I know, like I said, I think I know. I think I had a lady I remember. I think she mentioned that when she got into it, when she
Balance in
switched
those shoes.
divisions, she
I know,
kicked
like I
off the
said,
high heels, and she
Yeah.
just was so happy got the high heels. Because
Yeah, it's most definitely very freeing. I'll tell you though, it's a completely new realm because without that heel to push the glute up, you got to be really nice and careful if you're walking across that stage.
yeah, you don't.
So it is an extra challenge, um, but it is so much nicer to know that if you fall, you're right there already. You know, that you're not having to worry about slipping on something like the carpet when the heels got caught on the carpet every now and then, especially with
Mhm,
COVID, we've had new shows in different places, right? It's been a little
mhm,
bit interesting with those heels.
mhm. So anyway, the big question is, how did you get started into the sport of bodybuilding?
Oh, that's a great story, actually. I had always had a real big passion for fitness, something real close to my heart. My mom passed away when I was very little from cancer. And for some reason, I always felt like I knew food was the reason that that happened. She didn't have the best eating habits and she wasn't very healthy. So I kind of just was navigating through my life, trying to find a way that I could, pay tribute to honoring that message, or maybe just figuring out how to at least keep myself healthy enough that I wouldn't follow in the same footsteps. Because that's what everybody told me. They said, you know what, you need to get constant checkups. It runs in your family. You will most likely get it. And I'm like, not if I have anything to say about it. So I went on to pursue my NSCA certification. I continued to lift for a very long time, 6 years actually, but I didn't ever look any different. I knew I felt healthy. I knew when I got my vitals checked and when I did my blood work, I was healthy, but I wanted more. I said, the only thing that you know that you haven't been consistent with is your diet. And something that will motivate you is let's put you on a stage because there's an end point to that. And if you don't look good by that point, you're going to look like a fool. And of course, my female insecurities would never let that happen. Um, or so I thought. The first show was still a little bit of a learning process. so, so anyway, so I got into that idea of doing a bodybuilding show. I reached out to somebody that I knew that had been a part of it. And they offered to coach me for free. Well, actually, it wasn't for free. I paid for a diet and such. So I did this 3-month program. I didn't quite continue all the way with that coach because there was something a little bit off with my diet and I ended up getting a little sick. So I switched. I met my husband during that time. Thank everybody. I met my husband, IFBB Pro Charles Curtis, and he was just so inspired by how much passion I had for learning everything new that it kind of refreshed his love for the sport. And when I reached out to him, I said, you know what? I just need to feel healthy again. Can you fix this? From that point, he took on my coaching. That was probably April 2018. And we've been working for this ever since. And I love it because we've always prepped for shows together. So I'm always getting to see exactly what it's like for a pro to go through a very strenuous prep. And he's very, very conditioned when he comes in for his shows. But it's also given me access to see like backstage. I get to see the pros in person. I get to see all of these things. And I've just absorbed everything that has to do with bodybuilding over the last 2.5 years. And I'm so proud to be right here, right now, actually representing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, that's pretty cool. Anyway, I got one of my friends. It's my brother, Exec Gucci 23. We've been friends for quite a good while. He's here to say hello to you, Liz.
Hello.
He's really cool dude. He was suspended for a while for a crime he didn't commit.
Oh,
But he's always been he's always been supportive. And like
yeah.
like I said, it's just this sport has just been it's a great sport, and a lot of people give it I think they give it a hard knock to it because especially being a woman. And I know I'm often asked this about women. I know you get a hard time from the regular John Q's who feel like why would you want to be such a masculine sport where it's like we try to be a man. What is it? What is It's just that's the thing that I never understand. And I've been a fan of you ladies for quite a long time. And you are athletes. You take this. You take serious. You take this thing with serious. And like I said, you love. And I follow you ladies. Like, I feel like when I started out when I was a kid, when I got into it, my brother used to play football, and he used to collect the magazines, like like Schwarzenegger and Lou Ferrigno and them. And then I saw the women. It was just so different. So I'm from the South. I'm from North Carolina, and where we are, our women are a little bit more, not as a little more round, a little fuller, but then it's just a different shape of a woman. And you have to be really comfortable with what you are. And what would you suggest for a woman who might think about, I might want to try it for something? What would you suggest?
You will never know what your body is capable of until you actually put in the work and try. Mm-hmm. Because I did not look like this 3 years ago. I was skinny legs, super boxy. I'll tell you right now, I had a whole lot of extra body fat around my waistline. There was no waistline. My waist was bigger than my hip ratio. It was big. I didn't feel feminine. I didn't feel strong. And it was because what I envisioned that my body could be, I didn't see in the mirror. And it wasn't until I decided that I would do anything it took and that it doesn't matter how long it took, I was just going to keep trying to do that and be my best, that eventually my body would just end up looking the way I knew I'd be happy. Now, isn't that what we all want anyway? Who cares what people say to you? Who cares what their opinions are? If you can wake up every morning and look in the mirror and be like, I did that. I created that. And I am so in love with what I see. What else could you ask for in life?
That's pretty good. You got to have confidence in yourself.
Absolutely. You have to fall back in love with yourself.
Yeah.
It took some time.
Yeah. Like, one of my thing is, one of my characters is a joker. And, it's not everybody can't like me, everybody else. Everybody wants to be like this, but you're not like everybody else. You can't be like everybody else.
Yeah.
But that's just a special thing. And now I say one thing is what now right now you're still an amateur. And what would you like in your first show? What was your first show like?
So my first show was a little overwhelming, to be honest with you, because remember, my husband prepped me like a pro, and I was prepping right next to him because we actually did my first show together. It was a classic pro show, and it was his second showing that year. He was going for his Olympia qualification. So it was definitely challenging being right next to somebody who'd been doing this for over 10 years. I had just literally sat back and sucked it up, every minute of it, every awful part of it. And I thought, whoa, wait, this is just my first time doing this. This person's done it like for 10 years. You can do this, right? So I got through it, and I got through that first show. I'll tell you what, I was so happy to get off that stage. I was like, man, I can't see the crowd. I can't see the judges. All I see is light. I'm shaky. And I thought to myself, this is nothing like I had imagined it. But getting off the stage and then getting my placing was second place, which is actually there was only two people in my division, so I don't really talk about that one that much. But it was second place, and it really just gave me a wake up call. I had to look back at everything and said, did you really do everything that you could have done? Were you really 100% on your diet? Did you really do all your cardio? And just be honest with yourself. So after doing that first show, I was like, no, this is not why you decided to bodybuild. This is not the end result. You can do better. And I went back to the lab, and I spent about a year in off season. Off season and prep combined, and went into my second show. And there I also won first in figure, first in physique, and overall in both divisions. And that was in 2019.
That's pretty good, and that's pretty good. I mean, especially last year, like 2019 was I think was the best year. Then everything just
It was
kind
a
of,
good year.
yeah, everything. I think every time the shit hit the wall after that.
Yeah.
Because like I
It
said,
needed to, though. I have to say that it needed to,
yeah,
because a lot of the growth and development that I've experienced over the last year and a half would not have been possible without COVID. So as much as everybody wants to say I hate 2020 and I hate COVID, I'm in a better place because of it. So
yeah,
I'll appreciate that everything happens for a reason.
yeah. Well, truthfully, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have an enemy with COVID because my mother, she had got it, and
I'm so
I,
sorry.
yeah, I don't have, and in a couple of weeks, it's gonna be a year since she passed. She was already
Oh,
going
I'm
through a
so
lot of stuff, but
sorry.
for like almost 5 years, I took care of her. She
Oh,
went through a lot of things, and I know saying how it is to lose a mother. And
yeah,
I'm not a very good friend with COVID. Me and him are, we don't get it by. But
yeah,
I can see how what it is like this. Why I learned like this. Things that change societies often is pandemics and wars, because new
mm,
technologies and new measurements comes out of those. And
hmm,
I think with this whole thing, we're going to see new processes, new technologies,
yeah,
like kids, people who were going to work, like doing like this, like some like StreamYard and Zoom. People going to
yeah,
work and doing school and stuff like that. And that's what it is. I
yeah,
mean, it's a bad thing. A lot of people lost their lives, but that's the
yeah.
fact is that sometimes it's just new things come out of that. You know,
Hmm.
so
Hmm. It really shook things up for everybody. I think it kind of broke us out of a very stagnant pattern that we were in, and maybe we were just kind of stuck on repeat over here in the corner in terms of moving forward. And I think it kind of forced us to open our eyes and go outside and be like, oh no, we got to fix some stuff.
mhm. Some things are still about the same, but process of thing. But
Yeah.
I was looking at some of your stuff for 9G, and I saw the post you had posted of the George Floyd and the other
Yeah.
comparison, the thing from Spain and France. And I'm very political about that because, as you know, I'm not gonna say his name. His sentence is not going to come in a couple of weeks. His co-conspirators, their sentence will be coming to next year, and then we still got a lot of people like Aubrey Abraham, Breonna Taylor's. I mean, a lot of cases that are still waiting, and the
Yeah.
politics are just crazy in this country. And it's just it's hard. Right now we just saw they signed a new Asian crime bill, and it's just. I mean, it's just the thing about the world. It's just it's times that we have to realize that and you're in a relationship with your husband Charles. He's of a mixed relation, in a mixed relationship, and
Yeah.
how does that what's the thing did he really inspire you to be more political, or was that on your own?
You know, that was a very interesting time. I think it's challenging, as somebody on my side who I've always told people, my father never ever differentiated between different people in terms of color. He always made me kind of understand that it was somebody's character that you were to judge them by, and that there was good and bad everywhere. I never had to worry about the gender or color of any significant other bringing them home, because I get the same reaction every time. Cool, don't hurt her. And then that was it. Like, he don't care. So I've never understood where people stand on those things in terms of the racism and all that. I don't get it, because I don't see how others can't see these people as just humans, just like me. So
That's
being
what I
in the
mean.
interrelational relationship, it was very challenging. And there was a moment that was really hard for us, because I became very broken by it, because, and I'm going to get emotional now because I'm kind of that way. He has children, and they're mixed as well. One of them is a little bit lighter skinned, and one of them is like a bit darker and very obviously mixed with black. Now, these two children are going to have very different lives growing up if we don't change something. And that's not fair. And I saw these videos of these kids getting hurt, and I was welling in tears. I said, that could be your son, that could be Justice, that could be Malachi. I'm like, I can't do this. Something needs to change. And I became so consumed by that emotion that it became very hard for me to communicate with him, because as somebody who is not of color, this is not something that I had to deal with every single day of my life, like he had. And I had to reach out to my fifth grade teacher. We had a talk. She's also African American. Fifth grade was when my mom passed away, so we have a very special connection. And I reached out to her and I said, to help me understand why he doesn't seem like he cares as much as I do. And she's like, it's not that. It's just he's desensitized. He's been doing this all his life. You're only feeling this now for the first time. This is what it feels like. And
Mhm.
I was, whoa, you know, I have to understand this. I have to really take a real look at myself and, tell myself, oh, you're not racist. You're not programmed that way. But wait a minute. Why, when you describe your husband to somebody, do you ever have to use an adjective that includes that he's black or African American or whatever? Why can't he just be, well, my husband's a bodybuilder?
Mhm.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. Why does that qualification need to be there? And so that time it was challenging for both of us. It did become a time, though, where we had both gotten on the same page, and we felt like participating in the political conversations and participating in them was actually not getting anywhere. And I felt like we already know what's wrong. We need to be out in person doing things now, and not consumed in this keyboard battle. So let's just go ahead and shut that down. And
Yeah.
so for him and I both, we actually kind of unplugged just before the election, and we were just like, you know what, we're going to focus on making sure that we're living true to what we are actually speaking on a daily basis. And we have lots of clients. I have clients all over the world, and we always keep it an open arena for conversation in our place, so that we can have these people share cultures, ideas, and thoughts, so we can all elevate together.
Right on. This is from Brother XA Gates. Hit the like button for my brother George Page and Liz Curtis.
Yes.
Also, in the comment section, if you want to have questions you want to ask. Also, I got my PayPal on. I got my GoFundMe. I got my Cash App. So you know something. I'm living on a budget. Anyway, which question? How did y'all two meet? As a couple.
Online dating.
That's what I
Online
remember.
dating.
One of my interviews with with Shauna Boswell, she met her wife on online dating. Yeah, I think
Well,
that's really good.
you have to look at it this way, though, because for the lifestyle that we both lead, the traditional arenas that were available to meet somebody are not things we participate in. We don't go to bars and get drunk. We
Mhm.
don't go to restaurants and enjoy lots of different types of food. If we're doing an activity, we're trying to minimize our extra energy expenditure if we're in off season, or we don't have it to give if we're on season. So there's a little bit, unless you're like meeting each other at a show, like it's hard. It's
Yeah,
hard to connect with others.
this would be great something. eHarmony for bodybuilders. Somebody should do that.
Ah, I keep saying that I think they have like a fit one or something like fit couples or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, they should do that.
But they
Anyway,
should, because there needs to be other things that we resonate together upon, that because there's other niches. And somebody like myself going in a tradition now, especially if I were to enter the dating world again, my photos would be like a little bit, I'd be intimidating. It'd be very intimidating.
it's been a long time since I dated, and it just and you know
Yeah, I
I
don't even want to go
can't
back there. I'm
I,
good.
I just I can't go to these clubs. I'd be saying, "Can you turn that music down?" You know,
Yeah, I never understood that. You can't talk to anybody anyway.
I don't know. And like I said, one of my old jobs was I used to have a couple of jobs. I used to work at a gas station. I used to work at a textile plant, and one of my jobs was I used to work at a strip club.
Okay.
And guys be coming up to you, man, you work at this, dude. It's just it's sometimes a headache. It's a headache. No matter what job is, it can be a headache. Don't matter. Even if you see
Absolutely.
ladies walking around half naked, it can be a headache. But like I say,
Yes.
oh, here, I got one of my subscribers, KL, ain't no angel. He's like to say hello, say
Hi
hello.
there.
Yeah. So anyway, now, you've been prepping and dieting, and you said that your next contest, you say you're going to do the nationals. So you're going to do the
Yeah,
nationals,
USA's.
yeah,
USA's
USA's.
actually. Hmm.
So are you going to do both figure and physique for this one, or are you just going to do physique, or are you just going to leave that open there?
Coach wants me to do both. So we're
Ah,
doing both.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. That's the problem
We're
with
on,
the American coach.
we're in a unique place right now. Yes, the goal is eventually physique and have me, end up and stay there. But we're in a place right now where my physique has a potential to be well in both. And so he just wants to exercise the capacity to advance me forward at all costs, but also in a way that's not sandbagging, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
because there's ways to do that as well. We're trying not to do that. We're trying to go to the competitive shows. We're going to the ones that we know we've prepped for. And if I can pull it off, let's pull it off. Let's just see, what the judges are thinking, what they think of the physique. And I think I have enough conditioning and enough cool stuff to see that I can get pretty far with that.
So when is the USA's?
July 31st. It's 30th,
Okay.
31st, but all the females compete on the 31st. It's a Saturday.
Okay. So you know what? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to catch it if I can.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be live streaming something because that's a big
Mhm.
show.
And you know what? I'm gonna do a video support you because
Oh,
I make
thank you.
videos.
I appreciate
Not a
that.
problem. Not a problem. I enjoy doing this. I have a lot of free time. He has a real good marriage. So
Yes,
like I said,
yes.
like one thing is when you after the Dennis James show, what is your favorite cheat meal? What do you like to do when you?
It's funny. Everybody asks me that. Honestly, like Gatorade is all I want because you have to remember my peak. I have to eat so much food. I had 3 burgers and the equivalent to about like a pound and a half of French fries between Friday night and Saturday afternoon. So by the time I'm done, I'm like, where's the Gatorade? Because I didn't do any of that with water and I'm very thirsty. But other than that, I think the first thing I ate when I came back was one of our meal preps because we meal prep too. So I ate
Hmm.
that. I enjoy clean food because I enjoy the way it makes me feel afterwards.
Hmm.
But if I really had to go for a cheat meal and I was just saying, like, back to my old self, it'd be ice cream.
Cool. Everybody loves
I don't
ice
do that
cream.
anymore, though. I don't do that anymore. I try to
Yeah,
find some kind of like
yeah.
non-dairy substitute because I understand that it's not good for my body.
I know. I know. Some bodybuilders. The thing their enemy is carbs. Like a while back, I'm gonna see. You know, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see this a pitch I made. I sent it to a couple bodybuilders I know, and it's you ever saw the movie New Jack City?
Oh, I don't think so. No.
Well, it's a movie. Remember, it starred Wesley Snipes, Ice T,
Okay.
and Chris Rock. And Chris Rock played a character
Okay.
called Pookie. And there's a part where I took the picture of Pookie. Chris Rock, he's like saying,
Oh, I
"Man,
think I may have. Yeah.
the cars be calling me, man. The cars be calling me." I'm gonna see you that. You'll laugh at it. You should put it.
Yeah, but
You
see,
can show
that's
it
the
to
thing
friends.
too. I love carbs, but I love it's rice that I love. And that's not even something that I've learned to love. I used to, this is really bad. When I was single and like broke, I would eat bowls of white rice with butter and salt. And I would eat until I was full. It's like, no wonder I didn't look the way I wanted to look, right? So I love rice. So when he tells me I go back onto off season or like a semi off season diet and I can have more rice, I'm like, sold. That's all I need. Can I have all rice, please?
You ever take you out and say, "Well, baby, you're gonna have some. Want to have rice, or you want to have ice cream? Well, you got a choice on."
Honestly, I do rice because I
Ah,
can take that rice, throw cinnamon and a little bit of almond milk on it, and then I can make it kind of sweet. I
mhm.
adapt my stuff, right? And so that would be so much more enjoyable to me than eating something that I know I'm gonna feel 2 hours later.
Like one thing, like I said, being in sport, who do you find you have, kind of admire or kind of inspire you
Oh,
besides, Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many. You know what? There's one lady that she's not necessarily anybody that is like a top one right now, but she's the first lady I ever started following. And her name is Essence Monet, I believe. She's out of California. She did the Arnold like with the first year that I started watching for like bodybuilding, and she's got the most beautiful physique. And I fell in love with that, and so I continued to follow her as I continued now as like my current role models. Man, Sarah from, our Miss Olympia right now. I have
Very big.
always loved her physique since
Yeah.
even the last time that Shanique won and that she went, man, I love her. Shanique is always hands down. She's a freak. Like her proportions, her symmetry, her lines, her development, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So she's amazing as well. Sydney is her posing.
City
She's
Guild.
where I get, yeah, Sydney for figure. I get a lot of my inspiration and how I flow through that. In fact, I actually got to tell her that in 2019 when I was in Nationals in Miami. She was backstage and I was able to come up to her. And a lot of people had commented on my posing, and I said, I hope you know that a lot of that came from you and your flow and how beautiful you just melt into and out of poses. I was like, I take a lot of inspiration from that. But yeah, there's a lot of girls that, I mean, you've probably named the top 5 of all the divisions, and I'm just like, yes. Lately has been the classical queen too. I think I love her posing and her development and detail. She just won I think it was a Chicago Pro. She's going to Olympia now. So it's going to be an
Yeah.
exciting Olympia. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. The Olympia is a big thing. Oh, my man Exe has a question for you. He says, "Do you have kids?"
Personally, no.
Yeah.
But my husband has 2 children, so I have 2 stepchildren,
Yeah.
Malachi and Justice, and they're 7 and 11.
So you're a mom by nurture, but not by nature.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
That's a
I
beautiful thing.
actually have never really desired children of my own. I always thought if I met somebody that I felt that really wanted one and I agreed with that, then I would go ahead and do that. But by the time I met my husband, he's like, nope, I have enough. I'm like, sweet, I don't need any.
Yeah, yeah, that's a special thing to be. Like I said, I don't have kids of my own either. I just,
Yeah,
like I said, I'm mostly just busy working. Let's see, and like I said, I have a lot of free time, and that's the thing. It's a beautiful thing to be having a family. Even it's already made family. They're already there for you. You already get the kids. You don't have to put
yeah.
work. And I did like I said, I did a while back. I did a series where I did last month, since it was Mother's Day, and I called it Moms with Muscles. I talked about a lot of female bodybuilders who do have kids, and
There's a
there's a good number.
lot.
Yeah, it's quite a few. You'd be surprised. I remember back in 2019 when they had the Rise in Phoenix, there was a good number of women who were moms on that stage. Some were mostly the
Even
women.
still, I
Yeah.
follow like what's her name? IFBB Pro KC. I think that's her name on IG. She's a mom and she's like that 5'10". She pro girl. She just moved from bikini to wellness, and oh my gosh, she is amazing. But she's on
Hmm.
a ranch. She's got animals. She's got children. I mean,
Hmm.
even I have a suit sponsor, Crystal Gypsy. We have a little network of people through that. And Shawnee, she's also wellness. She's got 2 gorgeous little kids, and she runs her whole life single mom, picking them up, doing all that kind of stuff. She just won her pro card last year.
Yeah.
It's like this is it. Like women can do more than just take care of the kids. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And they can do it well.
And I know one bodybuilder I follow by the name of Robert Hillis. She just celebrated having her 4th grandkid. I know Rashana Boswell. She has kids. She has her and her
Mhm.
wife have 2 kids, and I know it's a beautiful thing when it's just the fact just to be, as bodybuilding is just per se it's a selfish sport, and to have the time. That's how people
Yeah.
feel. Yeah, it's really, but to have the time to say, what, to bring people, especially little people, into your life, and
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
introduce yourself to that, and it's a special thing.
And I can resonate with that a little bit too. I have a couple of friends who have parents who were competitors, like they're competitors now as well. And I do remember them feeling resentment towards their parent when he had to like leave to go eat a meal, or he wasn't able to show up to something because he was too depleted. And she remembered having a bit of resentment for that. So I understand that there's a lot of fear around neglecting the children. But what I like about our industry now is that we're so like things are so much more fluid now, right? Like now we have the capability where dad could have easily have just brought his food in his little cooler, and there's things to plug into the car to heat it up. Like he can be there. If you like, as a competitor, you can find ways to still live your life and still protect your sport and what you're doing. You know what I mean? You can find the way, and it's so much easier now to do so. And this is why I think you see so many of these women just smashing it on stage, and then going and bringing their little babies up on stage. Like you look at the kid and they're like this big. You're like, how long between, how did you do that? You know,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
possible.
I know, like Alicia Young, she has her daughter, and she is just, and Alicia's huge. I mean, she's just, she's diesel. You know. Anyway, I got a question from my man, Gucci23. Do you watch anime?
Not as much as, well, more now than before. It's funny you should ask that, because I don't know if you can see any of the stuff in my background here. My husband is a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Our entire office is decorated with Dragon Ball Z stuff. So I've learned a lot of stuff from that. I don't watch it personally. It was never something I did on my own, but I think it's so cool. And it's where a lot of inspiration from some of our posing comes from sometimes, because we like to do, in fact, we're getting ready to do like a Mortal Kombat shoot coming up pretty soon. I'm excited for, because I just think it's really cool.
Me, I'm more of a Naruto fan, because you ever watch
Okay,
Naruto?
okay.
My favorite part was when he's fighting Neji, and he's like, "You're not that special." Whatever I say, people thought I was a failure. I want to prove them wrong, and just I love the Nine Tails. I mean, he just like I love Naruto. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. They had
But like
some
I
really
said,
great lessons, looking at it now as an adult and watching the things that they're talking about. I'm like, wow, why didn't more kids? No wonder so many children were inspired by this. It teaches them that their power's within themselves, and they have to be
mhm.
disciplined, and they have to work hard, and that they can have all of these crazy cool things happen in their life if they just focus. I'm like, why are more kids not watching? Why was I not on the the anime train as a kid?
Well, America, how we grew up with Looney Tunes and
Yeah, Animaniacs.
I
People
watch
just hitting yourself over the head with a dumbbell, like
yeah.
that's not
I
productive.
I still watch Looney Tunes. I get up in the morning, I watch Bugs Bunny them, because hey, there's not
They
much on
are
television.
classic. They are
Yeah, they all
classic.
classic, But anyway, this is the thing is the thing about the sport is I talked about this quite with many of the ladies is financial. And the cost of being a bodybuilder is expensive between dieting,
Yes.
between travel, posing suits,
Oh
and
my
you're an
gosh, the
amateur.
suits.
Oh yeah, the suits cost you a grip. See, your husband has to wear only your husband has to wear a banana hammock, and that's it. You know,
I know.
and
And
yeah,
and although I just found out recently that the guys do have makeup artists and they do get it done, the pros do, and that it's actually really good for them. So if that is a cost that they can splurge on, but they can get away without it.
yeah. And one thing is like I often hear that the one thing is the worst thing is the spray tan because y'all do it's cold. Ooh.
Yes, but I don't spray tan. That's my secret.
Oh,
No, no, we use Protan. We've always exclusively used Protan, but those
mhm.
airbrush guns are actually new and they haven't always been around. So how did the bodybuilders do it back in the day? You
We know
paint
this.
it on.
Yeah.
You paint it on. And so, and I even talked to one of the ladies at the dentist show, and they had a lady who didn't get any tan at all, and it was show day, and she needed the tan. They're like, "That's okay, just go in the corner here, and we'll do you right here with
Mhm.
just the tanner and the sponge." And I looked at her, I was like, it's funny. I was like, "That's how I do my tan." She's like, "It's better." Because what ends up happening is that you press it into the skin, it stays longer, smudges less, and you get a better color. The airbrush, it just kind of sits on top and then you can't touch it, right? So then it's just like if you just laid a layer of dust on something, right? You're not actually sinking it into the skin. I was like, yeah, I've always painted mine, always. My husband does it for me and I do it for him. We're solid. We have a routine down, 2-3 coats and touch up before stage.
I remember when somebody told me one time what they do was like when they go traveling and if they go to a motel, they bring a bunch of towels with them because they know that if they
Yes.
use towels at the motel, they're
Yes.
charging extra, especially
Oh,
if
that's
they're
part of the tanning staple. So you have to have a couple of black sheets. You have, of course, your black warm-ups and stuff that you have to put over it so that you're not, laying on
yeah.
and getting creases on things. But yeah, no, I have a checklist for my clients that are competitors, and I'm like, these are all the random things that you need to have on hand that you really don't think you need to have on hand, but you do. So black sheets, black pillowcases, all of these things. Why black? Because you don't want to know how dirty you're getting them.
But like I said, with the amateurs, what would you like to see change financially? Because as an amateur, you're really coming out of pocket. You don't like until you hit the pros, you don't start really seeing.
Even as a
Um,
pro, though, like
yeah, the Nero.
that's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would make it easier for amateurs? It's tough because we're in an entertainment industry, and entertainment costs money, right? I don't think it's unreasonable, $135 for an NPC card as a membership a year. I don't think that's unreasonable. The entry fees, I mean, they have to make money somehow. They are paying for trophies. You are getting all of this really cool stuff, and that's generally running you about $100. Food. I mean, food's food. You got to be good at shopping. I've been a baller on a budget since I was like 2. So I always know the best places to go. I buy in bulk, and I do things in a way that keeps it cost effective for me. But that's just a skill that I've learned over time. Uh, Man, there's been a couple of, you know what? I know the ticket prices for your
Mhm.
family to come see you. Make it an all day. Make it just a one cut. Dennis did that for everybody. It was fantastic. It was $80 for an entire day. You didn't have to worry about nothing else. You didn't have to get 2 wristbands. But sometimes, especially like at the national shows, like they cost so much money for our family to come see us. And then if we want to do 2 divisions that happen to, for heaven forbid, it happen to be on 2 different days. You got pre-day, you got finals. Like your family is out of pocket the same cost it costs you to enter the show. It's like, oh, I'll watch it online.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
the ticket prices, I think those could come down a little bit. um, but maybe as bodybuilding starts to get a little bit more of a buzz, I think it is, we'll start seeing more sponsors. And I think that's where all the ends are going to really meet, is when
Yeah.
companies start investing in what we do and infusing these shows with money, so that maybe those costs can come down and they can offer some things like a little bit more perks for the competitors. Maybe instead of a trophy, like, I don't know, get a trophy, but get something that develops you later on, like, hey, exposure with a magazine or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah.
Dennis did that, though. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
That photo shoot on Sunday was fun.
Yeah, that's the thing is that it's hard because your sport is not as the sport is not as conventional because it's like like
No.
you got basketball,
Yeah, we're
football.
still a niche sport. We're tiny.
Yeah, it's a niche, even though it's been around just as long as some of the sports, like maybe as long as
Yeah.
boxing and some of the other sports, but it's just that it's still a niche sport.
But it's hard, though, right? Because it's an entertainment industry, but at the same time, the ideal or the societal expectation of beauty has changed. And as it fluctuates, especially for females, guys, it's different, right? Everybody always knows that, the Ken doll look or the Baywatch look or the Ronnie Coleman or all these big, massive people, like that's considered normal. But if for a female, as those ideals change of what's considered attractive, we fall up on the top, we fall on the bottom, we fall on the top, we fall on the bottom. So we're just always riding this little wave of whether or not we're accepted.
Yeah, because I know the one that really was Corey Everson, and she was
Hmm.
kind of like you say the gold standard, and then you
Hmm.
had Linda, and
Yeah.
then I think everything kind of changed after Kim Zavetsky and Iris Cobb. Iris kind of
I love Iris
blew the,
physique. She's such a
blew the
cool
doors
person
open.
too, if you've ever had a chance to meet her.
Yeah, yeah. And I think one thing was back in 2014, because I think the debate was always like this: if Alina had won that last Miss Olympia, they would have had another Miss Olympia because Alina
Hmm.
had she was Alina's like she's attractive, she was had the look, and I think that's probably who he wanted. But when Iris won again, Iris had a superior physique. They just say, you know what, there's no point to it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
thanks to Wings of Strength, thanks to Jake Woods, he saved the sport.
Yeah. Shout
You
out
know,
to Wings of Strength. They have
yeah,
their
Jake,
headquarters
yeah,
are here in Phoenix. I got to visit it last
yeah,
Saturday. It is amazing.
yeah. And I know he bought the rights to the Olympia because they're going to have the Olympia in Florida again. He bought the rights
Yes.
to magazines like Muscle Fitness and Flex. He's doing it pretty good.
Hmm.
I mean, too great. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
I got another question, my man. XA, does bodybuilding ever been handled at the Olympics? Now, I'm gonna answer that for XA. I know a few years ago that there was talk about doing it, but the
I think
problem
so. I think I
is
remember
just
that.
that. no one is trying to get this all together, get the countries out of injury. It's just not going to ever going to do it. And, it might be
Yeah.
interesting if they could do it, but I don't
I
think
don't
the
know. I don't know how I feel about that though. Just
yeah, I don't think the
ah,
IOC would do it. There was talk about
I
a long
just
time ago.
it's the entertainment part of it that's just it's a little too entertaining for me to think that we belong on the same stage as these like Olympic swimmers and gymnasts and things like now the fitness athletes, absolutely. The
Hmm.
fitness girls, 100%. The power lifters, the CrossFitters, those, yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. But the entertainment part of it, it's, I don't know. It's like a modeling contest kind of too, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember I was here one time some years ago, and this is just a rumor, scuttlebutt, that when Joe Weider was alive, he was trying to persuade or even trying to get the IOC to try
I
to
could
get
see that.
bodybuilding into, but it never happened. But
Yeah,
that was
I
Joe
could see that.
Weider.
When Joe, there was a lot of things that were different when he was alive.
Yeah,
He loved this sport
yeah, he
with
was. Yeah,
everything he had.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
I
was a
think
good man.
one thing was, even though he didn't like the way female bodybuilding was going, he still supported it. He still
Yes,
supported it.
yes,
And I think when like anything like like Walmart, remember Walmart used to be like I'm from here. Walmart started around our area, and when Sam Walton was alive, I used to remember we used to go to Walmart. Hey, $50, you can fill up the cart. Now you
oh
go to
wow.
Walmart, you can barely fill the little thing you put the baby in anymore. It's
Yeah,
$50.
and
Yeah.
Walmart's still the cheapest place to go.
Well, Dollar General.
That's sad. Yeah,
So, like I said, but anyway, this is the thing where we know we're talking about the cost of bottom. There's a dark side to it. As you know, a lot of ladies
yeah.
to make their money income, they do things
Mhm.
like sessions. They do, because I am, as you
Yeah.
know, as being a bodybuilding fan, also I'm a smoke. And I talk to ladies. They do sessions. They do video chats. They do stuff. Try to because the men gonna make money just because they can get apparel deals. I know your husband. He can probably get a deal with an apparel company.
Well,
You know.
just remind yourself the guys are doing that too. So
Hmm.
it's not
Yeah, I
just
know.
females. The guys are doing that too, and they're not just always getting the endorsements. They have sponsors.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing is like, and I think one thing I remember, Alina Pupa, uh, she just put out a video one time. She was like had a lot of bikini and physique women asking about seeing if they can get on women's strength, but women's strength exclusively is for women's bodybuilding because women's bodybuilding needs support. It's a sport that's still struggling. Physique
Right.
physique is still under IFBB and NPC in a way,
Yes.
even though there's still bodybuilding still under NPC and still govern it. But if you look at it like at your show, there was no bodybuilding, just you and just women's physique, the figure, and the other
Yeah.
shows. And
Yep.
there's few shows other than the USA's, the Nationals, and maybe a few others that's doing pro women's
Yeah,
bodybuilding.
there's some random ones too where you can win your pro card. There's like no qualification for it or anything like that. It's like some small shows. Like there's some random ones that are interesting. And
Hmm.
I think that needs to change. I think they need to take a look at the weight cutoffs for these females again, because that just doesn't seem realistic. Because like pretty much anybody who's over 5'7" is going to be a heavyweight bodybuilder. So I think they need to redefine that a little bit. I also think that there needs to be a better, more clarification between the conditioning expectation for physique versus bodybuilding, because that line is also kind of getting blurred. That's something that's a gamble for my husband and I. We always know, like, our goal is to get conditioned enough for physique and hope that that also looks well enough for figure, because that line is also close. But it just depends, when is the conditioning going to be too much that I'm going to get marked down? And
Yeah.
I don't really like that about these divisions, but because I know I could totally get shredded. Like I've been shredded before, and it's so exciting to be, have all of those lines and see all of those things. But I have to understand that that's a division I've chosen. So I have to match the division that I've chosen. Otherwise, I'm not going to place well.
Because that's the thing I know. Like I was did an interview with Jada Beverly. She's a pro, and she
Yeah.
said when she was competing, I think the last show, her and Mila Ash, they were both told that they need to go to
Mhm.
bodybuilding. And Bev and Jada, she didn't compete. She had an injury. I think she had to drop out. And Mila, she did the New York, and then boom, she did New York, boom, went to Olympia. And
Yeah.
that would be your concern if, like I said, you do a show And the judge said, that's, I think, because I know a lot of women said that if you get placed a little low, then they say, you know what, I'm placed a little low in this division. I'm gonna have to go up. So that will be your worry or your concern.
Mm, honestly, I don't really have any more concern about either because I just love the sport so much. I just love doing the best I can in each one. The placing, honestly, isn't that important to me. It is something that, of course, we're trying to achieve because that's the goal. To me, it's a side effect of what I'm working on. What I'm working on is the person that I put on stage next time look better than the one I put on last time? If it is, I win. I'm done. I win because I'm not going to stop doing this until I feel like I've had enough. And there's so much more that I want. I know that the placings are going to happen eventually, wherever they lie. Maybe when I do become a pro and start to compete at that level, those things will maybe become a bit more important to me, and I'll become a little bit more focused on whether or not I feel, um, anxiety around something like that. But like right now, I just want to be on stage.
You just,
It,
you
it
just,
doesn't matter.
you're just trying to be as cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
That's what I did myself that week. That same show that I peaked for, we're also as a company a sponsor of that show. I'm the chef of my little business here, which means I cook for about 18 to 25 clients a week, 4 meals a day, 5 to 7 days a week. And this is peak week. And on Thursday, we made all of the meals that we provided for the Dennis James Classic. Um, and then also set up everything with a booth. And, in between prejudging and finals, I probably shouldn't have, but I went to the booth and I was interacting with people. It's like there was only one choice that I had that week, and that was you either decide to be here or you decide to be here. Pick one because one, you're not going to survive. And then so I decided I was going to be here now in the moment. And this right here was going to get shut off because I knew that I'd done the work. I got everything that I needed to have done. I prepared. I've designed my life for this industry. All that's left is to just do it. And I just did. And so that stress kind of melts away. And I'm kind of adopting that as like an everyday thing now because it's kind of comfortable here to just not really care.
Well, I got another question from your friend,
Yeah.
XA23, and he is, what is your thought on MMA? Because we're part of a group called CS, we're part of a family called CS Combat Sports. We talk about MMA,
Mhm.
strongly, mostly women's MMA, because as you know,
Those are
MMA,
some amazing athletes.
yeah, because upcoming tonight is supposed to be Carissa Shields. She's a boxer. She's making her MMA debut. We'll probably watch it after this
Mm.
interview, and
Oh,
and it's just what do you think about the sport?
I love that sport. Obviously, I used to be a huge MMA fan back when the guy started it, when George St. Pierre was there. I have French background, so I kind of clung to that. He was a Frenchman, but I love it. I thought it was so technical, and it was beautiful to watch everybody just kind of bring all of their styles together. And then as the guys kept going, I kind of got bored with the guys because the girls came out, and holy moly, the passion that they fight with, the seriousness in their eye, I was like, ooh, that's in me. I don't know if I would ever do that, but that's in me. and the only reason that I don't feel like I would ever do it is I feel like I would get my butt kicked,
Yeah, I
like
don't want
for
to get hit.
sure. Yeah,
It's
I'm just like, I would definitely be the one on the ground with a swollen face. I know when I get lean, I have really sharp features, like my bones stick out very high. I know what that's like when you get hit with that. And so I was like, it wouldn't be a good sport for me. But I love watching it. They're incredible. Who was the one lady when Ronda Rousey was the
yes,
big thing
yes,
she was going on?
yeah,
I highly respect that lady because they really forced her into the spotlight, and coming from where she was and how she had to build herself to get to that point, I don't think she was ready for that. And so I think that a lot of the things that kind of went sideways had to do with that. But thank
yeah,
God the spotlight got off of her because she's so much happier now.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, those are incredible women. I love those girls.
Yeah, I remember this is a quote from a boxer. I used to, because I was more of a boxing fan. I didn't wasn't much for MMA, but I got kind of grew onto it. I remember this is from Ann Wolf, Brown Sugar. She was an old time boxer. Tell her that men when they fight like when they go in they fight like making love. But when women fight, they fight with their hearts on their sleeves. They're out there to ready. They want to. They're
You
serious about
best get
that.
out the way. You better know what you're doing because she gonna
Yeah.
find out. I had a friend of mine. Her brother was, well, he's a cop in California, and she had said that one of the he doesn't mind breaking up a male fight, but he hates breaking up the female fights
Oh
because
my
you don't know what you're going to come out with. Like the girl comes out with hair, this, that, whatever. It's like guys have rules. We don't. It like it. Look, if we're going to take the class off and throw the smack down, we don't really care what we pull because at this point there's
like,
we're going to get hit either way.
I told you before, I used to work at a strip club, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's one thing when you break up a guy's fight, it's not too bad. But when we break up women's fight, it's just. I remember one night I was just this is before I started working there. I was just chilling one night, and there were just two girls at the bar, and I think they had a little discussion, and I knew something was going down. When one of the girls put a hand up and doing like that, and they were
Oh.
going at it. And I just grabbed the one girl and just slung her over there, and the other guy said, "Thanks, man," because he saved me. I mean, I have seen girls fight.
You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Now
Probably,
imagine if you focus that, right?
yeah,
Focus that rage and train that rage and then tell that to go win a trophy. Woo, there you go. There's MMA. This girl's got
yeah.
fire.
I think women y'all have more of a passion compared to men. We go out there, we fight because we want to prove something. I think women, you fight for a passion.
We do. We do. We're very emotionally tied to pretty much everything around us. That's why we cry a lot.
Yeah, yeah. You just got. I think you got a fan. You got somebody who really loves you. I mean, he's a fan of yours. He's asking these questions. Another
Okay.
question do you watch wrestling? And if you do, what was your favorite wrestler at the time and why?
Um, I didn't watch wrestling a lot. I do remember that it was the WWE. The one girl that always caught my eye was the girl with the red hair. So she was
Lita.
kind of my inspiration yeah, is that what her name was?
Lita.
Yeah, yeah. So she was kind of my inspiration when I dyed my hair red, like went full red because her strong look and like the like her pale skin with the hair, like I loved it. So I was trying to emulate that a little bit. So all of 2019, 18 that I had red hair, that was my inspiration. But
Yeah,
they're
yeah. I
gorgeous girls.
you watch WWE. I watched WWE. I used to watch WWE. I was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean,
Oh, the old
you got to
ones.
state.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
son, I'm gonna step your ass and walk your ass to dry. And I mean, that was my man.
Yeah.
Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Like, Stone Cold. I
Yeah.
used to have Stone Cold shirt. I also love Goldberg. I used to with WCW. But like I
Yeah.
said, this is it's
I
great.
attribute a lot of the fact that I didn't know anything about all the normal mainstream stuff is we were poor and I didn't have cable. So if it wasn't on the 5 channels of our local news station, I didn't get to see it.
We were
And I
poor.
didn't have any access to it.
We were poor too. We didn't get kids till we moved to town. We lived in the country. We used to
Yeah.
most time
So did I.
yeah,
So did I.
we anytime we best time we get maybe 5 or 10 channels if it's raining real good outside and there's a lightning storm,
Hmm.
we might get 10 extra
Hmm.
channels.
Yeah, maybe. If you put the hanger on
Yeah,
top of the TV, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, this is fun. I really enjoy this conversation because I love talking to you ladies. I get to know more about you. I get to,
Yeah.
it's just a great thing. And I know you're still, the rest of the day you got to do. I'm hoping we can maybe after the USA's we can talk again.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah, let's make a plan to do it. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it'd be
Because I'll be
good.
traveling, so it'll be kind of cool. I'll have some different settings and stuff. Charles is doing the Tampa Pro, which is literally the weekend right after USA's, and then the
Definitely.
weekend right after that, he's going to go do the Battle of Texas. So I'm going to have lots of downtime, just kind of traveling all over the place. So we'll probably get closer to a time zone that we're closer together.
Yeah, that's cool. So like I said, I'm gonna like I said, that was the suggestion I told you about earlier. I'll send it to you as soon as I can. And
Okay. Yeah. No rush.
I really like talking to you. You are just I really
Thank
enjoy
you.
talking to you ladies because like I said, one thing is I'm really going to your division because I was more of a hardcore bodybuilding fan, but I'm really
Yeah.
going to the division. I am because
Mhm.
I'm really learning a lot about it. About the
It's
competitors.
growing.
Yeah, it's
Women's
growing.
physique is redefining itself, and so I think it's
Yeah,
an
because
exciting
it's
time.
like I said, it's an offshoot from the classic of
Yeah.
back in the day, like I said before.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's going to have its time. But this is a prediction coming up. You think, as you know, you said you're a fan of Sarah Vickers. You think
Yeah.
now that Shanique has gone, I'm gonna say like
Yeah.
this. You think she's going to repeat? Because you got Natalia Canejo.
Yeah.
She's coming up. You think she's going to repeat?
Yeah. Yeah. Most likely.
Yeah.
Um, it's tough because this is the level that you see the genetics matter, and it's unfortunate because individually by ourselves we can look incredible, but when we get placed next to another physique that has a better genetic advantage, it's gonna be very obvious. um, Sarah's muscular development and symmetry and all of the things that she has going on and her posing, oh my god, she is so methodical and just mm, she knows exactly the beginning and end of every pose. I just think that she's very much, when she lost to Shanique, she only lost by 1 point. So that's how close it is. I think just everybody loved Shanique's physique so much that she was just like, they fell in love with her like they fell in love with Arnold. And she had a
Mhm.
great presence everywhere. Um, but yeah, I think she'll repeat unless there's somebody comes out of nowhere. I don't know. Rachel Daniels out of Florida, she's coming up.
Yeah.
I
I
think she's
think
going to be there.
I don't know. I wasn't sure. I think somebody said Rachel's were going to skip this year. I wasn't sure. She could have did better last year.
Actually, I think so too. But you know what? She was going back to back to back. She actually started bodybuilding the exact same year that I did. She was bikini. Now she's a little shorter than I am, so when she puts
Mhm.
muscle on, plus she's also been more focused for a longer, consistent period than I have. I had
Yeah,
my ons and offs,
yeah,
but she's got, and didn't you know her story, right, with her back,
yeah.
with the
She
fact.
has scoliosis, stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah, she had it. If you look at her, if you scroll back, you look and there's an X-ray there where you can see all the pins that
yeah,
are in her back now.
yeah,
Like whereas we think we're just posing like this, like she's poses like this to make herself look straight.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I would love to see her break the top three. I think that would be
yeah.
amazing.
Because I
But
know,
I do think Sarah's probably going to take it home again.
yeah, because I know her last show, she has that look to her, and that's what makes it so, that look to her. Just her
Mhm.
pose is just so fluid. I think when
So
she did what
beautiful.
she at the Olympics, she should have did she should have did that she shouldn't have that Morticia Adams hairstyle. She should have just had a ponytail, something like that. That would have been better for her.
I agree with that. I felt like somebody could have done her Olympia look a little bit better because she needs
Yeah,
to just be true to who she is and who she is normally. And because that's what we want to see on stage, right? That's what I like to do. Like my hair, when I got my suit, my sponsor, I tell her, I'm like, I'm the canvas and you get to decorate, okay? Because she's a sponsor. I don't pay for the suit, so I tell her, so I'm going to be the best model, but you show your creativity on stage, and I'll wear whatever you put in me.
hmm
So she always chooses my color schemes and things like that. But when I go to do my hair, I try to get it as natural as possible because I know people are looking for my hair, and they're not looking to see a completely different version of me. They're looking to see what the polished look is of something they've been following for a while. And to be honest, I feel like that's who I am always. That's who I want to be on stage. I don't want to change who I am or the look that I have. I want to emulate what I emulate on a daily basis. Like, hey, this is the shiny product. Like this is what it looks like when we dress up, kind of thing.
you got to be you.
Yeah, got to be you. Got to
Yeah,
be unique.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
and you can be
Everybody,
if you're yourself because everybody inherently is unique.
yeah, yeah. If everybody was alike, it'd be a boring world.
Mhm.
Well, I appreciate your time. Tell Mister the Dragon hello. Maybe next time we get to talk to
Yes.
him.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and my man XA says hello to you. And like I said,
Hello.
share this information with everybody. And if you have any social media you want to share, any sponsors you want to call out while you're here.
Yeah, actually, of course, my suit sponsor, Crystal Gypsy Suits, you can find her on IG. You can look at my tags. Mine is Liz.Curt. I'm sorry, LizCurt.Curtis 2.0. So follow me there, and all of my links and stuff are there. She does a great job. Gaspari is my supplement sponsor, so I want to give them a quick shout out as well. But of course, the only person that I owe everything to is my husband and coach. So I definitely want to give a shout out to my husband, IFBB Pro, Charles Curtis. This none of this would be possible if I didn't have him in my life.
And this is for your fan XA. He'd like to thank you for the interview. You got a new
Absolutely.
fan. He.
Yay. Stay tuned because if you think last weekend looked good, we would just wait. We got 7 more weeks and we're going to come in tighter. We're going to come in with a little bit more size. Excited.
Gonna come in tight and right.
Tight and right. We got this.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I like to appreciate y'all coming through. My man Gucci 23, my brother KL the Angel, Miss Liz Curtis. We like to thank y'all for listening to our interview. This was awesome. It's fun. I love doing this with y'all ladies. Anyway, this is just the beginning. And
Just the beginning. Stay
just the
tuned.
beginning. This is your man, Always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't subscribe, don't subscribe, and we're out. And have a nice day, lady. Mwah. Peace out.